Buenos dias. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? Hope all is well. This is Jamie Irvin filling in for guess technically I would be here on a Friday anyway. But filling in for our Alyssa. Overall, we have a 200-point jump for Dow Futures. Apparently, the jobs report was blockbuster, reporting that we're on solid ground for the economy. The VIX is down 6.25%. It is at 19.21. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 0.64%. S&P 500 is up 0.71%. NASDAQ is up 1.10%. And the Russell 2K is up 1.45%. Ain't that something? Asia is mixed. The only two down is ASX 200, 0.67%. They're down. That's Australia. Nifty 50 down 0.93%. Europe is mixed with FTSE only being the one down that is negligibly down 0.05% over there for Europe. European markets climb higher after U.S. job reports. Maersk down 5%. And remember, Maersk is part of the shipping crew. Speaking of shipping, the shipping strike has been postponed until January. I believe January 15th. And so obviously that's good news for some. But they agree on a tentative deal. It says right here, and actually, the tentative deal on wages and contract extension, which is a relief. Let's be honest. What is coming up is the holiday season, and nobody on either side, shipping, consumers, companies, nobody wants to be a part of not having products available during this particular time. This is where the money is being made at the end of the year. Okay. So in terms of earnings, the only thing that was being reported this morning was Apogee Enterprises. Apogee Enterprises. That's all we have for this morning in terms of earnings. By the way, if you have any tickers you want looked at, please do drop them in the chat box. Today, this morning, in terms of Forex Factory, we had 3 red folders at 8:30 this morning. Average hourly earnings was better than forecast, a little bit better than forecast. The non-farm employment change was better than forecast, as well as the unemployment rate better than forecast. At 9 o'clock, the FOMC member Williams is speaking. Williams is speaking today. That is the yellow folder, right? As far as investing.com, we've got the same information here. Hourly earnings year over year for September, which was 2 stars over here. Average hourly earnings month over month for September, which was 3 stars. Of course, both of those better than forecast. Average weekly hours was slightly lower than forecast. That was 1 star. Over here, government payrolls for September, 1 star. That was neutral impact on economy. Manufacturing payrolls for September was down. Actually, negative impact, I guess you could say. 1 star. Non-farm payrolls for September was the rock star for this, 3 stars. The participation rate was 2 stars, neutral impact. Private non-farm payrolls was more than projected for September, 2 stars. The U6 unemployment rate for September, neutral impact, 2 stars. And the unemployment rate for September was 3 stars. Over here, better than forecast. Over here, Williams speaking is a 2-star event at 9 o'clock. Other than that, as of 1 o'clock, we have the U.S. Baker Hughes oil rig count and total rig count. That both of those are 2-star events at 1 o'clock. And then we have our speculative net positions. The run for those starts at 3:30, and that's aluminum, copper, and corn are all 1 stars. Crude oil and gold speculative net positions are 2 stars, as well as the NASDAQ 100 speculative net positions. The natural gas is 1 star, and then you have the S&P 500 being 2 stars for that speculative net positions, and then the silver, soybean, wheat, those are 1 stars over here for speculative net positions, and that is done and over with. I believe I might have said 2:30, but it's 3:30. Yeah, 3:30 is when that starts going down. So something to be aware of. So 1 o'clock for U.S. Baker Hughes, and then 3:30 for the speculative net positions. All right. We are going to switch this up so we can take a look at Monsignor. So quick. And I'm going to bring this up for you. EFP, I don't know what EFP is. In SPX, 457, 30, 57, 2 points off. They haven't started yet, but on this hour, we'll learn this hourly. Looks like am I still being heard? All right, thank you for the heads up on that. I have no idea what is happening. I just saw a little circular motion on my computer, so I don't know what that's all about. All righty. I believe. Listen, I'm a router. 805. Oh, that's funny. All right, yeah, I don't know what's going on right now because I got everything focused on the internet. All right, so we got 5770, 5783, our bonus target. It's 57 a week, 56.99 and 89 are supports. Below 56.99, 56.89, you want to sell below that. All right. Sell below that. All right. I can see you guys, and I can see your messages. I can see you guys, and I can see your messages. Yes, they definitely kicked the port can, the port strike can down the road. That is all right. We're gonna try this. This is the issue. Okay, LL says you are clearer now. All right. Let's see. Let me say good morning. Good morning to Ward, Janae, LL, Lady T, Tamar. Good morning, and good morning. All right. So we have where I left off was Mancini, our Mancini numbers. And we had the two targets was 57, 37, 57, 60. He's going to warn about this hourly. And then the current numbers 57, 70, 57, 83 are the bonus targets. 57, 18 is the weaker target. 56, 99, 56, 89 are supports. So if we're going with the highest number and the lowest number for SPY, I'll just type this in. That would be 578 and 568. That's what that looks like. 578 at the top, and then 568 at the bottom. Right? I'm going to make this smaller so it can still be seen. Give it an 11. So 578 is the number at the top for this higher number on the bonus target. And then 568 is for this number at the bottom. All right. Good morning, Nankali. So for the support. All right. We can actually go 56.99, 56.89. And what we'll do, give me 1 second. And we are going to switch on over to our we're going to switch on over to our chart. Let me see. I got try this again. I'm logging into Thinkorswim again. Whatever was going on with my wireless knocked out my code. I'm gonna go ahead and go back in there and add in our security code. This message, this Mancini number is going to be put in our Telegram group. All right, I am doing that currently. If you have not already, please feel free to join our membership. educatortotrader.com. You can join our membership. It's always good to trade with others. Try to put yourself in a better position. Have extra resources and other people to extra set of eyes on your trades. Some of us have actually avoided disaster by having extra people to be able to ask their feedback on our trade. So I know that that's a real thing. All right. So we are loading our desktop right now for Thinkorswim. Again, if you have any tickers you want looked at, this would be the time to drop those. right. We're going to start by looking at SPX. See what it did this morning. Start with the 15-minute. It definitely, man, it gapped up big time. Check that out. Matter of fact, we're going to clear this all up. There's a gap up from here, 56.99, 57.37. That's a nice little 30-something dollar gap up right there. Let's put our 15-minute breakout so we know that it has broken out of the 15-minute time frame already. So that has officially happened. And you're probably going to want to mark this what's left of the gap here. So I'm going to put this in here. Obviously, it can push down through there, et cetera, et cetera. But we at least want to mark it. Right? 56.99. We'll be sitting right here under that gap. Right? 56.99, 56.89. Those are the Mancini numbers. So those will be sitting right up under that gap. So I'm going to drop those on there. And I will put those in red. I'll just put M for Mancini, 57.99. Wait, no, 56.99. Right? And there you go. We got that one on there. Obviously, you can always drop another one on there. I like to have more than one if possible. 689, and I'm literally just putting this on here. So when I am looking at the chart, I can see what's going on. And we'll do it that way. 56.89. We'll show the name on the left. Right? So that's the Mancini number that we got. Okay. All right, to answer the question about the 15-minute breakout, actually, let me move this here over. So what we do with the 15-minute breakout, there are different people who trade it differently. Some people do the first 30 minutes, but the idea is on the first 15-minute candle, we trade, we put a mark at the high point and the low point, and then we wait to see whether or not it breaks out, and people place their trades accordingly. The idea is to be able to make a trade in the morning time, number one, but number two, take advantage of the morning momentum. So the first 15 minutes may or may not show you some type of breakout pattern. There are actually indicators for it, but it's just one way to make money. The short version of the story is one way to make money, taking advantage of the morning push, aka the morning momentum. And usually most people are probably in and out of that. Well, in that trade, some people get in within, I see a lot of people doing between 10 o'clock and 10:15, but they definitely want to take advantage of, they want to take advantage of the momentum. That's the overall goal, is to be able to get in that trade and take advantage of momentum. So that is the significance of that breakout, is just to go the opposite direction of where the momentum is going. And so in this case, if somebody was looking to trade this SPX, again, I wouldn't mess around. I really start looking at 10-15, but somebody would go, okay, this is pushing down, so they would want to do a call credit spread above it since it's pushing down, and then they will be watching it. And then, of course, depending on what it is they're trading, PDT hack, for example, they will put in a PDT hack on it and try to lock it in, and boom, they have their possible coins in their favor for the day. All right. So we got, so far it is trying to break out. It has come back down to this level. It is bouncing off. This is what you would call this is where a good example of this was a resistance area. This was a resistance area at 57.10-ish. Okay, when it came back down, it gapped up over here. This is from yesterday, and now that same price point is now support, and that's what I always refer to. That's what I was told was called a parity line, parity. When it goes from resistance to support, or vice versa, that is a price point to pay attention to, because things keep happening at that price point. So if you look in the past, you see there's activity still around it. And this is a zone. So don't, keep in mind, this is a zone, but there's activity surrounding that zone. So that's a zone that could be of note in the future. So this is where I will put a dashed line in this area for 15-minute, because that's how I mark my swing points. And that's how I keep track of what is a parity line or not. And this should be a different color. Right? So anytime I see this line, I know that's a parity line. So that's a strong line I'm looking at. Something could happen. It could bounce off. Here's one here. Here's one here. Just as examples. Again, there's zones. So it's not a perfect, clean, one single digit number, or shall I say one group of numbers, but an area, if you will. But we see that SPX is bouncing off there. So, all right. LE, thank you for putting the X option strategy in the group. Truly appreciate that. All right. In our Telegram group, for those who are not familiar, I use X options, explanation of it. And whoops, wrong thing. Delete that one. And I am looking for the I'm gonna post this for you guys. Oh no, that was the right link. Copy. That's what the music sounds like. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but you're gonna say X options 15-minute breakout. And drop that in there. So definitely feel free to check it out. It has been great information. I go back to it on a regular and look at it. All right. This is Russell 2000. And Russell 2000, I also do the I only actually do the 15-minute breakout on Russell 2000. And essentially what I did was I applied what I was doing on SPX to Russell 2000 because they are both cash settled indexes. So what has happened with Russell 2000 today, it has already broken out as well. Same deal, right? First 15 minutes, you want to see what's going on with that in market. There are some people who, instead of the first 15 minutes, they trade the first 30 minutes. Trust me, there's no right or wrong answer. Just find what works for you. That's the key. Just to find what works for you. All right, so I'm going to mark this with a 15 at the top. And we're just marking the high point and the low point of that first candle. So we know that this is broken out of its first 15 minutes. It gapped up. So now this was a buyer's gap. So that means when it comes back down here to this area, it may meet some support right there. All right, so that's something to be aware of. I was talking about the parity lines earlier. So what I usually do is I mark these lines for my parity lines so I'll know about where price could turn around. Right? So that gives me a good idea of what to watch. I've been doing all of this on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so that's the chart I am using, is the 15-minute chart. And we are on Think or Swim. Think or Swim. All right. So I'll just sit and watch this and do a couple more of these. And then I know we got some movers for this morning that people are interested in. Take a look at a couple of those, and then we shall release thee onto the market. All right. So the thing to watch out for when you're dealing with the 15-minute breakout is always this. Right now it's 10:16 Eastern time, right? So we have what's called the 10 o'clock turnaround. And for many reasons, the market can be going in one direction, and then around 10 o'clock, you may see a change in the direction that it's going. So that's one of the things that makes the PDT breakout something that you might have to watch closely because of something like this. This was bearish when it broke out, but now, it looked like it might be trying to switch up and get bullish, right? So that's something that you have to definitely, keep in mind. And this is Russell 2000. SPX moves a bit faster. I like RUT because it is slower, but there's some, as you could say, minuses to it being slower. But either way, they're indexes, so they both move faster than your average ticker. But all right, so I don't see any tickers. I'm gonna drop SPY in here since we already looked at SPX. We know that that's not the same. We know that SPY is hitting that. We just did our Mancini numbers for SPY as well. We have a nice gap up here. This is on the daily chart. So we got a nice gap up right here on SPY. All right, it is bearish. I'm sorry, this top part is bearish, but the bulls have stepped in, and really this looks like a buyer zone up here with a seller zone right above it. So there's no telling what could be about to happen right now, right? But this is still going to play out, obviously, for the rest of the day. But we definitely have a nice little gap up right there. It's not massive, but if it comes back down, I would expect it to bounce on that a little bit. This could very well be a double top happening. Who knows? It is having trouble breaking past that 574. Right, so that could either be gap up. Now, I will say this for those of you who are into candle patterns. This looks like a possible head and shoulders forming. Boom, boom. This eventually ends up coming down. That could be a head and shoulders formation that's forming. Obviously, it's too early to tell. But since this one is so far above this, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what that ends up being. So we will watch that and see. Again, we got our Mancini numbers. If you are 568 is what will be at the bottom. So he had 568 being actually in the gap, right there in that gap. Right? If we want to take a look at it right now, which I probably would be waiting, but 568. Let's see here. What will 568 get you? Nope, I wouldn't mess with 568 right now. On SPY, I'll be doing 80% of the money. That was me. And I am seeing, what is that? 566. 14 cents. So $14 on $100 collateral based on Mancini numbers. So I just went by Mancini numbers. The number that he had was closer to price for right now because it is still rather early, I guess you could say. But 15 cents, $15 on $100 collateral. That's 15% return on your money. Not bad. All right. One thing you definitely want to check out, of course, because of the activity that has been happening in the tech space. Nice gap up on NVIDIA. Occurred the other day. All right. This is a seller zone that it is currently gapped. Ended up gapping, but it's in a seller zone here. That's where it is right now. And again, here's the buyer zone. Right up under it, the buyer zone and the seller zone and the buyer zone are right close together. So something is bound to happen when you have that. We're on our daily chart. And of course, just to guess you could say add some intrigue. Here's a trend line. So we know this is trending up. Guess what else we know? If we were to do this as a channel, per se, and duplicate this, you can always go up here. There's a couple different ways you can do that. We just need 2 of these to connect. All right. So we got our 2. Actually, I can make that 3. Got our 3 to connect. This look familiar to anybody? This is a pole running down from north to south. The buyers are getting higher and the sellers are getting higher. Which flag pattern does that look like? The buyers are getting higher. The sellers are getting higher. Flag pattern from north to south. Could be bearish flag, could be bearish wedge. Could be either one of those two. I'll be looking at one of these two. For this right here. If you're having trouble seeing it, flagpole, north to south. And then now on this one, I use the furthest candles. If you wanted to use ones that were close, closer up, that's fine. The chart will never be as clean as the pictures that we see, right? But the general idea, I'll be waiting to see what all that's going to do, but it would not surprise me if it comes back up here, comes back down, and somewhere in here breaks. Wouldn't even surprise me if it broke right here, since that was that's NVIDIA. It is in the seller zone. Technically, this is bearish. Today's candle is bearish, but the bulls are trying to push it back up, right? So if I'm looking at this, say, what am I going to do with NVIDIA? Since NVIDIA is not having earnings today, I wouldn't be worried about it gap it up. I would be looking. I'll probably go above first. This is one spread on NVIDIA. This is 10% return on collateral. One spread, $10. I'll be collecting. Obviously, if the bulls are trying to push that up, you might be all right. I might be all right waiting and seeing what it does. And then here, it's only 7 cents. If you were doing iron condor, that would be 18% return on collateral. Not too shabby. But that is for today's expiration as well. All right. But I think this gap right here is a nice little gift, I guess you could say. I always look at those gap ups and gap downs as nice little gifts. All right, whoops. I'm gonna look at cost Q, because they did have earnings. Just interested in seeing what they turned out. Looks like on their daily chart, they have hit. Let me tell you something. Costco's in the news because they started selling those gold bars, and they have sold out of. I shouldn't say they sold out of them, but the gold bars have been so successful that they going. I think they did silver, but now they talking about selling platinum bars. Them things are flying off the shelves. So this is a funny looking seller zone. But as of right now, Costco looks like it came down to this buyer zone. This was a gap up right here, and there's still a little bit of that left. So it looks like it's trying to turn around. It's just a funny looking sell zone overall because of this activity. I wouldn't mind going up here. There you go. I like this a little bit better. In terms of the seller zone up here, you can actually see leg in, base leg out up there. And then there's a strong buyer zone down here as well at 822. 822. So that's much further down. But as of right now, the buyers and the sellers are fighting. Somebody might even look at this as an iron condor opportunity for today. I don't know what the this is a 5 spread, just so you know. Out the money, 85% out the money. That's 35 cents. That's less than 10%. Which we'll be collecting, because that would be 10% would be $50. That would be $35 credit. However, if this was a iron condor, as an example, you could look at both of those and get well over 10% return on collateral. That is not investment advice. That is me saying what I would do in the situation. All right. Okie dokie. Let's swing back around, take a look at our SPX, see what the deal is, and then do the benediction. All right. So SPX has pushed down even further. And the rejection from the sellers here at the bottom of the breakout has been rather strong, right? So that's interesting to see. Then let's see what's going on with Russell 2000. Pretty much doing the same. All right, which is crazy because the news was good for the jobs and the port strike. So I thought they'd have been all happy, right? We got E2T freebies for those of you who are interested. E2T-freebies, freebies.com. Alyssa has created a nice tool set for traders to be able to utilize immediately and add to their trading toolbox, right? E2T-freebies.com. Our E2T Daily Declaration: by faith, I'm a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me because money is comfortable around me. It is drawn to me. E2T Daily Prayer: Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. All righty, people. Thank you so much for bearing with us during our technical difficulties. I'm still waiting on my router to come in. AT&T was supposed to send me a router. Then it turned out, because I kept calling them, it turned out that because I was upgrading my bandwidth, a technician had to bring out the router. They didn't tell me that. So thank you for bearing with me with our technical difficulties. All right. So you all have a great trading day. Stay green. Get this money. If you are in our Telegram group, we already posted the Mancini numbers. And like I said earlier, the Axe breakout, the opening range breakout is already posted in there. And right here, if you have any questions, you can always Telegram us, or you can post our comments, any comments below. So thank y'all very much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And we will see you hopefully on Sunday when we do our next live stream at 5 Eastern. All right. Have a good one. Hasta luego.